just start from the top. I mean, what excites you about this deal? Why is this a plus for the Portland Trailblazers?
It's a fresh start, obviously. We've been in a partnership with NBC Sports for a long time, and they were great partners. But it's time to move on. And what excites us most are a couple things. The guaranteed distribution is higher, and the area that our games are going to be broadcast is bigger in more states. I think that's good for fans. And then it's going to be fun to be on a network where it's not just us. We're going to be on a network with the Mariners, the newly to be launched Seattle Kraken. And I think that's there's a lot of benefit and being exposed to their fan bases and their fan bases being exposed to ours. So there's just going to be a lot of must-see sports content on the network, and it'll be fun to be a part of it.
Are there any, changes that fans might notice that you anticipate when they turn on Root Sports for the first time to watch a Trailblazers game next season?
I think the look and feel is going to be very similar because we are one of the few teams in professional sports that controls the production of our broadcasts. So that's very important to us, and that's a part of this new deal. So it's going to be a very Blazer-focused broadcast. It's very similar to what everyone's seen the last several years.
I'm assuming that was kind of the two big things, right? Was to be able to be in more households, and also to be able to, kind of control the production side of things for Blazers games?
Yeah, that certainly were two of the big factors. But I think it's tough sometimes to be the only team on a network because your season is only 6-7 months. So it makes it tough to have compelling content when our games aren't happening. So to be a part of a regional sports network that is all the must-see sports TV in the Pacific Northwest, that's going to be something that's going to be fun to build over time.
Chris, the deal, a 4-year deal, is that pretty typical with how things work?
Yeah, I mean, you see it kind of all over the place. There are some longer-term deals. There's actually some shorter-term deals as well. When we were doing this, we felt like that was a good amount of time to get into a new partnership and build something. You certainly wouldn't want to look at something in a 1 or 2 year mindset. That's not how we do things. We love developing really strong relationships and with our partners, and this is one of our most important ones. And so I think that is a good time frame to do that.
I know Dish subscribers, DirecTV subscribers, they're pumped up about this to be able to get the Trailblazers. But on the flip side, you also have a lot of cord cutters and streamers who are concerned about that. What were your concerns going into it about the options that aren't available yet, streaming-wise?
Yeah, I mean, our job is to provide as many options as possible. We don't control that necessarily, but we can help influence. And certainly we understand that there are people out there that don't have cable packages and are the cord cutters you're referencing. And, those streaming deals are fluid. They change every year. And, I'm hopeful that as we get, closer to our season, maybe there's some news around that. And if, you don't have streamers on as part of Root, potentially you wouldn't have had them at NBC either, because those deals are shorter and change quite frequently. So that, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, providing streaming options is a challenge, whether or not you're with NBC or with Root, and it's a challenge all over the industry. And hopefully we'll be able to solve it, and definitely hear from those fans quite regularly. And we respect those fans and understand their position. And, hopefully, as we get closer to next season, there'll be some news around that, because we know that that's a potential issue. There's no real perfect television deal, evidenced by we're coming off one that we were in for 14 years where we never had satellite distribution. So there's a large portion of fans that, were direct or Dish customers that we heard from regularly that, couldn't get our games. So now we've got that box hopefully checked, and, those customers are happy, and then we can get some progress on the streaming side of things as well.
Roughly how many households will you guys be able to hit compared to where you were, with NBC Sports Northwest?
Yeah, we don't give out the numbers, but it's essentially double what we are hitting now. So the footprint is bigger as well. So those numbers aren't stuff that we give out publicly, but it is definitely a bigger footprint.
In terms of, the broadcast team having, Jordan, Lamar did such a good job, Brooke and stuff like that, are you guys able to keep that side of things intact? Is that part of the production side?
Yeah, we have in collaboration with Root. Again, those are major decisions that we would never make alone. They are our decisions, but as a partner, we would make that with Root, and feel pretty good about our broadcast team.
And I think I pretty much covered most things, but I don't know if this is obviously more of a Root question, but I'm sure it came up when you guys discussed this. And Root having, multiple pro teams that could overlap with games. Was that a concern for you guys, or is there a plan in place for that when, let's say there's a Blazers game at the same time as one of the other teams that they're broadcasting?
Yeah, it is a concern, but we've got it figured out to where there either will be another station, and this happens all over the place when you have multiple teams on a regional sports network. So there'll be a system in place as it relates to how those conflicts are handled, and we feel like it'll be handled in a good way to where we'll be able to communicate when there are conflicts, and primarily we're going to be there won't be conflicts most of the time. So, but yeah, we do have a good system in place to handle that.
So what's next for you, Chris?
Well, this is a really important off season for us to be building, in a way, a relaunch, because we haven't really been able to effectively host our fans for such a long time. So when the season starts, we're hopeful that it's 100% capacity, and we can have a more normal season. And since our fans haven't really been at our games for so long, we want it to feel really fresh and new and exciting. So, we're building a bunch of plans around that, and are organizationally looking at this as like a real opportunity to welcome fans back again in a more normal. It's been a challenging season, so in a more normal situation for everyone to come enjoy Blazer games. And then, the concert business is going to be very, very brisk. We're booking a lot of shows already. So I think you can anticipate obviously a lot of basketball games, but on non-Blazer nights, non-Winterhawks nights, there's going to be a lot of concerts coming through here.